All the good girls go to hell, 'cause even God herself has enemies. And once the waters start to rise and heaven's out of sight, she'll want the devil on her team. God killed the dinosaurs. And by God, I mean Mother Nature. And by Mother Nature, I mean Earth. And by Earth, I mean there is no good word for what to call this planet, or this universe, or this dimension. No good word for what to call all that is. No word that man did not create. God killed the dinosaurs, or Mother Nature, or Earth, or the planet of this dimension's universe. And we are scared of storms, and tides, and heat. Climate change is a selfish fear, a human fear, a self-righteous concern. And like all things on this planet, and this universe, and this dimension, we want to claim ownership. We want to be the creators and the destroyers. We want to be God. We always want to be God. We always want to satisfy our inability to swallow how impotent we are. Do you think the clouds know your name? Do you think the waves know your eyes? Do you think the heat cares to call you kin? Maybe. Before. Maybe some of us. Most religions have a flood. Most religions were written after the flood. Most beliefs became believed after the apocalypse. God killed the dinosaurs. We found the graves. We have buried the bones. And don't they look like us? Don't they look like a peoples who failed to see how small they were? There is no good word for what to call retribution against an ungrateful creation. Prolicide, extinction, global warming. The dinosaurs are dead. God killed them, or Mother Nature, or Earth, or this planet, and we think it fears us. We think we're destroying it. How arrogant are we? How afraid? How y'all doing? Thank you all. My name is Justice Amir Gaines. I'm so excited to be here with you all. If you're wondering, that the song I sampled at the beginning was All the Good Girls Go to Hell by Billie Eilish. It's the Gen Z anti-capitalist climate anxiety anthem with all the biblical references I need. Honestly, that first poem was about me thinking about climate change as something that we see it as something we're doing to the earth versus a response the earth is having to us. And something that's really important is that we are the only species that can repair the harm that we've done, right? And that's why having a president like Bernie Sanders is so important. In 2016, I supported Bernie Sanders because I didn't believe the other candidate had any commitment to ending the neoliberal systems that oppressed and tried to target and kill people that look like me in my communities. And I believed he was the most electable candidate. And then this cycle, I was like, well, Bernie's going to have to earn my vote. It's a bigger field. And he has. Right? The most progressive platform, and I believe that Bernie is the most electable candidate, and I believe as president, Bernie Sanders, along with all of us, can make a change to this country. In 2018, I also ran for local office and for city council in Providence. And as a black trans woman, it was actually an awful experience. And I've been trying to speak out more about how it wasn't powerful, right? It was actually very tokenizing. It was very painful. And part of it was there's a lot of white folks in my ward who supported the diversity I represented, but didn't support the reality I lived in. They didn't support the reality of the communities I fight for. They didn't support what it meant to work past just the optics and actually fight for people. And so even as we fight here for Bernie, a lot of white people came to this room, right? And you all have to be committed to interrogating your whiteness, navigating it, and making sure you advocate it where possible. Because, guess what? The reason folks like me are very disillusioned with elections is because we have been made promises that people have never lived up to. And Bernie can't do this on his own, so we both have to hold him accountable and hold each other accountable to making sure we fight for racial justice. This next piece is just some thoughts that came out of that campaign, and it's a little bit more personal, so I hope. I think a lot about not thinking, not being so consumed by memories and moments and maybes. I think a lot about maybes. Could have been, should have happened, would have said, if only I thought of it sooner, epiphanies, eulogies for myself. I think a lot about how the present is never reliable. It's there, and then it isn't. It exists, and then it never exists again. And God, I'm sorry for being jealous. Sin just looks like the right idea sometimes. I think a lot about sin, fatality, lust, pride. Is there avarice in my want? Hubris in my unapology? Maybe all freedom is gluttony. Maybe keeping all these thoughts to myself is a greedy hand. Maybe all these maybes make me take up too much room. Think a lot about not being consumed. How joyous it might be to finally be the apple someone bites. To be the idol someone kneels for. To have lips gasp my name in vain. And think a lot about my name. How easy it is to pray to believe in, to rest your weight upon until the scales tip in your favor. I think a lot about weight, how heavy a word can rest against a body. I think a lot about my body, how quickly it becomes a statue, to worship, to glorify and to fetish, and to token. Erect as a barrier to be broken down, resurrect into a martyr to be misremembered. And God, I think I understand the burden of our prayers. What a baseless faith it is to leave your pain in someone else's lap. It must be tiring to constantly be asked for things we won't even give each other. Why is it that the gates of heaven always open faster than gated communities? Why is it that the backs carrying the most loads are always the first to break? Why is it that death is more attainable than compassion? I think a lot about the answers we never question, about the questions we neglect to ask, about the depths no one answers for. I think a lot about eulogies, stories we tell, or would, posthumous fictions and fantasies. I know they'll write my ending wrong. I know they'll slur the leftovers of my life. Remember all this good. Erase all the wrath. Forget me bitter and angry and sad. God, is this what it's like to feel incomplete? To be celebrated for the parts of you that make other people happy. Think a lot about being happy. About being a memory. Being just a moment. And I'd write the story myself, but it's a lot of thinking. And I'm lazy. Or busy. Getting the rest that my ancestors never got. That my sisters get too soon. This is really just about, like, as we're thinking about climate change and the impending apocalypse, that's how I refer to it, we really do need to return to indigenous ways of thinking, because indigenous folks, indigenous communities across this world have lived in concert and in community with nature for centuries. And what's happening now is not natural, it's not our way of existing as humans, and we need to remember that. On my last trip, I went to the park. Been to this park before countless times now, and the clouds were out, falling like a cool mist. All the plants were glimmering in the gray. This time I hugged a tree. It was warm under my cheek, the moss soft, and in my left hand a crystal. Not once that long hour did those fingers feel cold. The sidewalk was ripped by roots. The wind was inhaled by branches, and you could see it. The gentlest movements of leaves and stems and worn down petals, enjoying life, existing in a perpetual vibration. Concrete is so fickle. Brick and asphalt and refined metal is so gray. Every man-made edifice, all the artificial facades, they just look dull. Not even dead, just lifeless. Right under the surface of forest, there exists an expanse of roots and fungi, all intertwined and wrapped up in each other. When the elder said the trees talk, it wasn't hyperbole. The living network of wires helps the whole wood commune. The trees, the shrooms, the soil, they share nutrients and water. They gossip about the latest seedlings. The fungus recycles death into purpose. The roots spread news of deciduous dangers. They ration their resources. They care for their neighbors. They prepare each other for the changes to come. I can't imagine what it must have been like to be on the edge of the first forest, gutted by saws and steels and speed. What I would have told my friends. How I would warn them that everything is ending. But this is no forest. This is a park. The trees are just as alive. Just lonelier, probably. A duck laughs overhead. The ground quakes on an island. Ash falls from the brush fire. The crystal hugs my hand as my other palm caresses the spines of a pine cone. And I wish I could exist in an underground world where all we did was live and breathe and be. I hugged a tree and I said thank you, but I don't know if it said anything back. I want to say it's because it's just a tree, but I know they talk. I just can't remember how to listen. Thank you all.